Good morning, taste buds, and Merry Christmas. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. According to experts, you will eat some 300 cookies this year. So if you want to eat some good ones, stay where you are because I've got some good ones for you today on SoFlo Taste. How fun is that? Christmas taste buds. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein, and I'm ho-ho-hoing here at the Goya Kitchen at J.A. World in Coconut Creek. Holiday cookies have become a hard menu of the season. They are fun to make, especially with the family. They make great holiday gifts, and they're just, I don't know, deliciously good. So today I thought it would be fun to give you some recipes for some of my favorite holiday cookings. So let's get cooking. So this one is a gingerbread cookie. We're going to start it, we're going to let it rest, and then we're going to jump into our gluten-free chocolate chip cookie. So to make the gingerbread cookie, we've got molasses going in the pot. To that, I'm going to add a bar of shortening and a lot of brown sugar. You know, that's really what gingerbread cookies are. They're just molasses and sugar. So what we're going to do is we're going to stir this around until everything just kind of melts together. The sugar will melt. Ooh, I smell the molasses. And the shortening will melt in here too. But the most important part of this is allowing this to come to room temperature before you actually make the rest of the cookie. These gingerbread cookies, they look like they're going to be really runny, but as they cool, they congeal, and it really makes a really wonderful cookie recipe. But you need a little bit of time for this one. So I suggest if you're making a couple of these cookie recipes, start this one in the morning and then let it kind of come together and get a little more, it'll solidify, and jump into the other two cookies that we're making today. You actually don't have to let them rest at all. You can mix them and bake them and they'll be ready to go, which is so much fun. All right, so everything is basically melted here. Let me just mix in that last bit of shortening, and then we're adding, to cool it off, I would imagine this is why this is added. This is from cold water, and then some baking soda right at the end. So let's go ahead and add the water, add the baking soda, make sure we mix this up really, really well, and just forgetting about it and walking away. All right, let's jump right into the cookie batter that is gluten-free chocolate chip cookies. So we're gonna actually make this completely out of almond flour, and that's what's in here, almond flour. Usually I like to mix my different flours together to come up with my own perfect ratio of gluten-free flour, but in this recipe, this almond flour works beautifully if you can eat almonds, obviously, and you don't mind a little touch of the flavor of the almond in the cookie. It really is a great chew. So the first thing you're going to do is, in a stand-up mixer, you're going to combine butter and two sugars, white sugar and brown sugar. Using a paddle, not a whisk, let's bring this together. So this is called creaming, and you want to make sure that everything combines itself together and whip it so much so that the sugar becomes part of the butter. All right, once that creams together, go ahead and add 1 egg, let that come together, and then add vanilla extract. Let's add some baking soda and some kosher salt into the almond flour. Combine that really well. And we're going to go ahead and add all of this into our mixing bowl. Combine that again, but not too strong. Really go slow at the beginning. We don't want to lose any of that precious flour. Once that comes together, let's take it off there, move it around a little bit, making sure that we gather up all the ingredients and we haven't left anything behind that might be around the bowl somewhere. And then let's add our chocolate. So we actually have two different kinds of chocolates in the chips. Some are bigger, some are smaller, some are darker chocolate, and some are a little bit lighter chocolate. It's a lot of chocolate. That's it. Pretty easy, right? All right, so let's take the paddle off. So let me just show you real quickly. I'm gonna make one so you can see the size. They're pretty good sized cookies. If you wanna make them bigger or smaller, you can. I'm just going a little bit bigger than my scooper. And I'm going on parchment paper so that they don't stick. And we're just gonna flatten them a little bit. We're hoping for about 1 inch to 1.5 inches, maybe 1.25 inches high. And you definitely want to space these out well. So come right back. We'll jump back into the gingerbread cookie and finish off our chocolate chip cookies. See you in a minute.
Come back to the Goya Kitchen at J.A. World. Michelle and the food. This is SoFlo Taste.
How would you like to win a $500 Goya Seasonings Greetings gift card? Well, of course you would. Well, your chance is waiting for you at local10.com. Just go to local10.com to register. The Goya Seasonings Greetings winner will be chosen on Monday, January 2nd, 2023. So enter today. Just go to local10.com for your chance to win Goya's Seasonings Greetings $500 gift card giveaway. Because if it's Goya, it has to be good. Welcome back to SoFlo Taste and my holiday cookies. Americans consume over 2 billion cookies a year, about 300 cookies for each of us. That's a lot. The average American eats 35,000 cookies in a lifetime. Woo! Want to guess what half of the cookies baked in American kitchens each year are?
Chocolate chip.
Yep, chocolate chip. And tonight, Santa will eat an estimated 336,150,386 cookies put out for him. So if you forget to put your cookies out before you go to bed, I don't think he'll miss them. And speaking of chocolate chip cookies, voila. Here are the gluten-free, very chocolate chippy cookies, and they are delicious. You've got to make these. They are wonderful. We'll put them on a prettier plate, but I wanted to show you what they're like just out of the oven. They're beautifully crisp and golden on the outside and really gorgeously chewy on the inside. All right, so I'll set these aside. Let's talk gingerbread. And what's great about these is you can really make them into any shape you want to, or you can really just make a round cookie. It's totally up to you. So remember that mixture we made of molasses and brown sugar, and then I added the water in there to cool it off and the shortening? All right, so this is about room temperature. What we're gonna do now is add an egg and mix it all up really well. Get that well combined. Baking soda, salt, and the spices that make up gingerbread. We've got ginger, cinnamon, and cloves, all those beautifully warm spices. Just remind me of the holiday season. All right, once the spices have mixed in, now we're gonna add the flour. So this is an interesting recipe because it came out really, really soft to us, yet it worked really beautifully by baking. So the author asks for 3 cups of flour and then little by little more flour if you need it. And we definitely did. So the recipe that I have given you, you'll just want to add enough flour until it gets to be the right consistency, which they're saying is not so sticky. So let's combine this until it really just comes together. I'm using a rubber spatula. Now you're really going to work out your arm on this, I'm just letting you know. So you see how incredibly soft this is. To me, this definitely needs the additional flour. So I'm going to go ahead, it asks to do a half a cup at a time. I'm going to go ahead in because I have a funny feeling it's going to need that whole other cup, and mix that in. This is definitely a lot less sticky. I can already feel it. It still needs to cool more, but this is really what we're looking for. So it's a beautiful creamy cookie. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna let this cool. I would really let it cool for a good couple of hours, and then you're gonna roll it out, which luckily I have some, of course, that we wrapped up in plastic and threw it into the fridge. But it's still rather, as you can see, it's rather tender. So it actually looks like caramel. This is actually what caramel looks like. It's so funny. So we're gonna put a lot of flour down first on the table. And we're gonna take about a third of this dough and place it right here. Top it with more flour because it will be rather sticky. Go ahead and start working it out till about 1/4 of an inch thick. And some, you know, when you roll some things out, they just need a lot of flour. This just needs a lot of flour. So don't be shy with it. Keep kind of flipping it over, and it's really soft. It will need a good amount of flour. There we go. And don't worry, because once you've got it to where you want it, we're going to brush off a little bit of the flour so that it's not dusty. Okay, there we go. So that's about 1/4 inch thick. I decided to make stars because I love the shape of a star. Like I said, you can use any shape you love. If you have gingerman cutters in your house, that's lovely. Or whatever it is that you like, go ahead and shape them. But this will be the shape that I love. A beautiful little star. And then what you do is you just take a little brush, a pastry brush like this one, and you just brush off the excess flour. And then you place them down on a cookie sheet. So I'm going to go ahead and bake these. We made a little bit of royal icing for these, mainly for decoration more than anything. And I will also give you that recipe. But you know, we love to make our cookies pretty here on SoFlo Taste. So come right back. We'll have these baked off for you. I'll show you the royal icing treatment. And then of course we'll jump into the sweetest cookie of the day. So I'll come right back. We'll see you in a minute. Stay tuned to SoFlo Taste. We'll be right back. Welcome back to SoFlo Taste. We're here at JA World in Coconut Creek, a place for our kids. But they have an annual event dedicated to adults. It's Saturday, January 28th, as the JA Circle of Wise Women presents JA World's Uncorked. JA World becomes one of the top Epicurean experiences in SoFlo. For ticket sponsorship opportunities and information, visit jasouthflorida.org/JA World Uncorked or call them at 954-979-7120. Now back to the cookies. All right, everybody. This is what these gorgeous gingerbread cookies came out like. They kind of look like starfish, don't they? They're so pretty and they're beautifully crisp. They smell so good. So you can either serve them like this, which is delicious, and you can also serve a side of frosting that you buy or make. We're not watching, so don't worry. You can do as you wish. Or you can top them with a little royal icing. So royal icing is interesting because, you know, it hardens. It's not like creamy frosting. So it's really easy to make. You'll have the recipe, of course, on the website, but they do come out rather beautiful. So I would say that these are the gorgeous cookies that you also put out for Santa. You can also color the royal icing with different colors. You can add any type of food coloring you like, or you can turn these into Hanukkah cookies by adding a little bit of blue into half of the royal icing and white into the rest of it, and maybe turn it into a Jewish star instead of a regular star. Okay, I'm pushing it now. Anyway, so they came out really nice, and with a cup of milk, I can't think of anything more delicious. And there you have it, of course. So we've got our gorgeous gluten-free chocolate chip cookies, and we have our spiced up gingerbread cookies. So the last thing we're gonna make is a very seductively sweet Nutella cookie. So it's gonna be an all chocolate cookie. So let's jump right in. Into a mixer, you're gonna add this trough of Nutella. Have you ever in your life added this much Nutella into a recipe? I hope not. But for fun and Christmas, this is what we're gonna do. So the Nutella goes into the mixer, and a lot of it I might add. So my son eats a lot of Nutella, but I try to put it on healthy things. I know that that's kind of an oxymoron, but I buy these really healthy waffles, or I make really healthy breads and things, and we top it with Nutella and fresh fruit. And it's kind of my way of getting him to eat a little bit more fiber and fruit by disguising it with Nutella. You're gonna mix the Nutella with a tiny bit of brown sugar and let it get really creamy. It does smell good, I have to say. The Nutella smells delicious. Okay, let's go ahead and drop the eggs. We've got a yolk and a whole egg here. And that's going to take a minute to come together. We've got a lot of fat going on. You know, you have the fat from the Nutella and the eggs. So it starts to break at the beginning, or look like it's breaking, but then eventually, as it is now, finally comes together. All right, to that, we'll go ahead and add the flour. And again, let that come together. You're gonna get a lot of flour up the sides of your bowl. Make sure that every once in a while, you lift the bowl and you push down the flour using a rubber spatula. It takes a very small amount of flour for this cookie to be made, so you really need to use every bit that you have in this bowl to combine the cookie. Okay, now it's coming together properly. All right, we are there. Not that you need more, but why not? We've got some little tiny chocolate chips going in. All right, we are ready to go. So what we're gonna do here is, I'm using a little bit of a smaller scoop than the chocolate chip cookies. I truly believe that there is a lot of richness in this cookie, so the cookie should be a little bit smaller than your typical cookie, because I just think it would be too much. So we're gonna make them a little bit smaller. They're delicious, but they pack quite an amount of sugar and chocolate in one bite, so let's go a little bit smaller. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna add some crunchy sea salt to it to really balance it all and make it even more delicious. So there's two things you can do. You can either add salt to the beginning or salt to the end. And I think what I'm gonna do is, because there's so much going on in this cookie with sweetness and chocolate, I think that we should maybe do both. A little bit at the beginning and a little bit at the end. They're beautiful cookies though. They come together so gorgeously. And I'm not going to press down because of the fat content. I think that these are going to spread pretty well. So I'm not going to really push down almost at all. I'm just going to make sure that they're formed into a nice round. Tap them and let them go. So here I've got the Maldon salt. I'm just going to top each one with a little bit. Okay, I'm going to bake them right now. When they come out, we'll touch a little bit more Maldon and see how they come out. We'll see in a minute. SoFlo Taste will return right after this. Welcome back, everyone, to our holiday cookie show. Our Nutella, chocolate, and sea salt cookies are out of the oven and beautiful. See what I mean? That they're a little bit smaller than the chocolate chip cookies. Quite a bit smaller, almost half the size, actually. And so, like I said, they pack quite the punch of chocolate. So I just think that this size is perfect. And there we have it. And like I told you, I was going to double the amount of salt, and there you go. Just beautiful. Well, did I give you some cookie recipes that you can call your own? These are really good, so I hope you try them. And after all, they are Santa approved. Next week, I'm looking back at this year in taste. I'll revisit some of my best recipes of the year, recipes like beef stroganoff, cabbage wrapped steamed salmon, baked Alaska with Italian meringue, and coconut rice pudding with mango. Now that's a menu perfect for saying goodbye to 2022, so please join me. So taste buds, have a wonderful Christmas Eve and Christmas, and please be smart, be safe, and be vaccinated. Goodbye and good taste. Happy ho ho!